I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to escape.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
Happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to escape. These days.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
If my day keeps going this way, I just might.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 137 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I was just about to say 136, but I know that was the last episode I did with Melissa O'Neill. How's everyone doing this during this fine Thursday evening? It's a bit cold today, but hey ho, we're in the middle of January anyway, so hopefully, and I know it's still going to be relatively cold in February, but hey, what can you do? We're still in winter period. Anyway, let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now, and then we'll get started with the first major thing, which would be a big update for the show. John Francis, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Ragnar, if you're still there, of course, because I've just seen that one message was posted. Ragnar Iron Spears with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Mega stream with Melissa Chief. Really enjoyed that. Well, thank you very much. It seemed like a lot of people enjoyed that episode, and to be honest with you, I knew it was going to be a pretty good episode, but I never expected it to have the amount of praise as that episode got. Because I've seen comments from almost everybody from Telegram or YouTube or anything or any other platform like that, and it's been nothing but overwhelmingly positive. Like, everyone just really enjoyed it. Like, they thought Melissa was a great guest. She comes off as a very passionate woman for her country and for her people. And I mean, it's no wonder why many people would look up to her and think, yeah, that's somebody I would definitely vote for if she was like a big politician type of person. So yeah, with that being said, I definitely want to bring her back on the show at some point, and maybe even next time I'll see if I can bring other people on from, like, other members from the Irish Freedom Party, like Herman Kelly, for instance. I did see a video. Actually, it was something I forgot to mention on that episode with Melissa. I should have mentioned, because I know Melissa mentioned Herman Kelly, and I should have brought up that base video. It was a recent demo he was at, and of course there was a lot of lefties standing towards his left, and of course the flag was flown and all that. He was trying to get it all away, and of course the lefties trying to get all aggressive, but they were not having it. It was pretty base stuff, and I definitely see if I can maybe have him on and other members as well. Now, that being said, it was a good episode. I really did enjoy that. That doesn't mean that it's going to be next few episodes just by myself, and then maybe once in a while I'll bring another guest on. I have my eyes set for another guest for the next episode. I'm not saying it's going to happen next week, maybe the week after, but again, we'll definitely wait and see with that. So keep your eyes peeled for any updates on other platforms like Telegram and Twitter. I'll definitely keep you guys updated, and definitely follow me on those other platforms if you can. That would be mostly or much appreciated, folks. Let me see who else is here. Gamma Sandwich is with us. Thanks very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Rory Herbert is with us. Thanks very much for watching Mood of the Nation. DJ Cuts is with us. Thanks very much for watching. Hasdak, evening to you too. Thank you very much for watching. England for the English. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Let me see here. Kingdom of Vinland, thank you very much for watching. Joe Marsh is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Streaky Bacon, inshallah, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Good evening to you too. English Weather, thanks very much for watching, as always. My birthday is at the end of February. Weirdly, it tends to be quite mild and sunny in recent years. I see. Excellent stuff, really good stuff, Gammon. So hopefully, I think it really depends on also where you live, but hopefully it'll be a lot warmer by the time that time comes around. Kingdom of Finland is asking real quick. Chief Moody, do you like Warhammer 40k? If so, what's your favorite 40k faction? Mine's the Adeptus Mechanicus. I think that's how you pronounce it. So. It's a bit strange for me with Warhammer 40k. It's that I've never played the tabletop board game because I wasn't exactly too sure how you could play it. But I've always been interested in the lore of Warhammer 40k. I played a couple of video games in the past, but there was one I remember playing on the PlayStation 3 called Space Marine. And that's when you play as a member from the Ultramarines, I think they were called. The ones people would say they're like the face of Warhammer 40k, the big what do you call them, super soldiers with like the blue armor, those types of characters. So honestly, I haven't played the games. I have read up the lore and all of that, but I would say I'm not a fan. I'm more like I do appreciate it. And in terms of like a faction or faction, what would I pick? To be honest with you, if I were to pick a faction right now within that universe, I think I would go for the Space Wolves, mainly simply for the fact that they're basically Vikings in space. That's basically the common gist of Space Wolves. They're pretty badass, in my opinion. Anyway, so hopefully that answered your question, Kingdom of Vinland. So thank you very much. Woodlander's in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. And I think I mentioned Joe Marsh. He was in the chat earlier. Yo, bro, and hello, chaps. Yeah, maybe a message again. Excellent. Well, that's me up to date with the chat so far, which is really good to see. And also, Exile Viking is with us as well. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So there's 17 people watching the show. I'm sure there'll be more people coming along in later on. Let me see. That's fine, no worries with that. I thought it was a question for me. That's fine, no worries. Right, so let me get on with the show with the first major thing, which is a big update. Now, as I've expressed in the past and a few episodes ago, there's going to be some major changes going on within PA in terms of content creating or content creation / live streaming. Of course, there's a lot of PA related shows like Tea Time with Sam and Laura, Patriotic Weekly Review, my show, Mood of the Nation, PA Talk. I'm trying to think of a few others. I know Ayatollah has, I think, 2 or 3 shows. There's Friday Night Dinner. There's 2 other shows, if I'm not mistaken. And you could say even the PA Film Club, Book Club, PA Monthly Updates, or with those, I consider them to be like the PA monthly streams or bi-weekly type of streams. And then, of course, you have the Nationalist A-Team occasionally on a Sunday, and so on and so forth. So there's a bit of, and also Renewed Britannia by Wesley Russell. There's a bit of changes going on from when shows are streaming and in terms of making them like very pro PA type of streaming. So one of the major things that's happening is that most of the well, I say most, pretty much all of the PA related shows are going to be streaming exclusively on Odysee. Now, with that, that does again. There's a bit of talks back and forth of why this is going to be done in this case, because the majority, not all of us, I know I'm still on YouTube. Cy and Mean P from PA Talk are still on YouTube, and even to an extent, Jodie is still on YouTube. In fact, she does her own streams as well. But it's becoming apparent that because of the mass deplatforming and suspension for the most BS reasons, it's come to the attention that maybe it'd be best if we all jumped ship and moved over to Odyssey. That also, myself included, with my show, Mood of the Nation. Now, I know that might be something that many people would not be happy with, and it was a bit of a, to be honest with you, I did have a long think about it for a while, because I know for a fact that the majority of my audience are from YouTube, and I know YouTube is a big platform, but I can understand why this decision would have to be done in terms of promoting PA content, because Odyssey, from what I've known, is that it's a very pro free speech platform. They don't deplatform or censor anyone or anything like that at all. Rumble is good and free speech. As I've heard, I don't know if it's maybe. It seems to promote a lot of the CivNat type of content, like Stephen Crowder, for instance, as an example, which I'll get to that in a bit later on. So what I'm trying to see here, folks, is just to keep it a long story short, is that Mood of the Nation, in terms of tonight's episode, I think this will be, for now, the last episode that will be streaming live on YouTube. And from next week and onwards, it will be live exclusively on Odysee. Now, there's a bit of a problem, because I know there have been a couple of people been asking me, oh, when you're going to stream Odysee. Well, the problem with Odysee is that in terms of getting the PA banner or PA logo up, say about up there, if I can get my finger on the right area, up there, and also the background change from, say, pure black to, say, maybe with the Mood of the Nation logo. The only thing how I can actually get that is possibly with a subscription on StreamYard. I've talked about before that StreamYard normally costs around, say, 20, well, in American dollars, 18 to 16 pounds per month, I think it is. And unfortunately, at the moment, I don't really have that kind of money at the moment. I'm actually kind of a little bit struggling as it is at the moment with that. But maybe I can try and still stream it in some way. But I'll see if I can give it a try for next week. And I see there's so many people in the chat already saying like Odysee is bad for buffering. I can understand that. I've had a couple of issues from some streams and videos in the past here and there. From my experience, well, I think when it's not live, it's okay. It's not too bad. When it's live, for some reason, I don't know if it's me, but it seems to be fine when I'm in a certain area. But when you move about and maybe have to go out and while trying to listen to it, it can be pretty bad for buffering for some people. But it might be probably the best option moving forward. Now, when it comes to Rumble, I mean, I'm open to Rumble, so maybe I'll see if I can maybe have a look into that as well, and maybe see if Rumble might be a good platform as well. If Odyssey doesn't work, then maybe Rumble could be another good platform to use as well with that. It's crap when it's live. Yeah, I could see that, but I think it just really depends on the person. But I mean, I know that might be something that many people might not be happy with at the moment with that, but it makes sense for producing content with MPA, because again, most of the people from PA have been deplatformed, suspended. I mean, and look, when it comes to my channel on YouTube, Cy's channel on YouTube, and even Jodie's channel on YouTube, it's not a matter of will we get suspended. It's more of a matter of when we will be suspended. As we know, on the last episode of PA Talk last week, I know Cy was talking about how he received his, I think it's his second overall strike on the channel, and and of course 3 strikes and then you're out. So if he gets one more strike, then that's it. Now with my channel, I myself have got 2 strikes on my channel, and I'm actually surprised that this channel has been going on for as long as it can, which I'm actually pretty surprised of. But it's the same situation. One more strike, and then the channel is completely dead. So yeah, I know that might be better bad news regarding to the content, but I mean, tonight's episode will be the last episode. Mood of the Nation will be live on YouTube, and it'll be possibly moving over to Odysee. I'll see if I can try and get that sorted out in the meantime with that, folks. So anyway, moving on from there. Speaking of well, I say speaking of, but I want to mention this real quick as well. So, what's in tonight's episode? Before I move into the first topic of tonight, of course, if you like the show and if you want to help support me or support the show with that, whether it be for better equipment or anything like that at all, and also to help me out with my living conditions at only a brief period of time, I would consider yourself to be give like a helping hand type of thing by supporting the show through financial donations, whether it be through Entropy, which the link for that will be in the chat just now as a pinned comment, or you can see the PayPal link if you want to send donations directly. That will be in the description down below. I'm going to see if I can actually post this in the chat just in case, because for some odd reason with the PayPal link within the description, it's a bit weird because it can't. I've clicked on it a couple of times and it's never really worked. But if I were to just get the full link, it then does work. But anyway, here's the PayPal link. Again, if you want to send any donations through there, then that's the link for it if you want to. YouTube is only good for car repair videos and belly about dancers. Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, it pretty much is. What were the strikes over? If I remember, I'm trying to think, what was it? Do you know what? This would be actually back in my CivNat days. So back in the day when I was a civic nationalist, I would try and talk about politics and stuff related to politics. So I was talking about people might, I don't know if people in the chat might remember this, but the whole big fiasco with Matt Jarbo, aka Monday Matt. There was a bit of a controversy that he used to be one of these like free speech, like anti-SJW type of content creators, but then it turned out that he was actually false flagging people because they either criticized him or dared to make fun of him, and of course he got crucified for that on the kill stream when the kill stream was actually good at the time. And I know people like Zidane and Mr. Macker called him out on it. So I think, and I made 2 videos. I think one that received a strike, and then there was another one that was more like a reaction to that. So I think that's where those strikes may have come from, to be honest. But other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing from what I can remember on YouTube. No any issues whatsoever regarding to that. Jarbo strike you. I know it's well. At least I think, because I think it was funny looking back on it, because my video about the first video I made was, again, it was a reaction to his appearance on the kill stream, and I was talked about that, how it was very hypocritical of him to be the free speech arbiter and all of that, but then will false flag people because they make fun of him. What's this? Does YouTube have an issue with your wallpaper? Well, the wallpaper first appeared on the show says episode 88 of Mood of the Nation, and I don't think I had the problem with the wallpaper. That will teach you to be a CivNat gimp. Well, you know what? I think there was a lot of things that occurred within the civic nationalist scene that made me realize that they're not really for free speech, or they're basically massive LARPers. So yeah, I'm pretty much glad that I came over to this side of nationalism regarding to that. So, because I even remember the whole Kraut and Tea stuff. I don't know, there's people in the chat might remember that, but for those that don't know, again, this was like after the height of the anti-SJW video content making. You had people like Sargon, Count Dankula. There was people like Kraut and Tea. Now, Kraut and Tea was one of those anti-SJW content creators. Again, very pro free speech and all of that, until a certain lady came into the fray, talking about race realism, And that woman, I mentioned her on the show before. That woman goes by the name of Rage After Storm. And there was a big whole kerfuffle with that. And of course, he got her, had her leave the internet and had her suspended from her workplace at the time. And it was just an absolute mess. And then he got called out for it by people on the far right type of or the distant right, if you want to call it that. He got all butthurt to decide to make in secret, of course, making a Discord doxing server where he would try and dox these types of people, including, I think some of them included Lauren Southern at the time, Brittany Pettibone, Martin Sellner, Andrew Anglin at the time, JF Gerpy. There was a lot of people in terms of the target list, and there was a lot of doxing in that server. What's this crowd? The Salmon Master. Only if you agree with their opinions. Do they believe in free speech? Exactly. Otherwise, you're spreading. Otherwise, you are spreading hate speech according to them, regardless whether you're right or not. Yeah, exactly. They're just complete fucking douchebags. I try not to swear. And last week, Joe Marsh. Did you used to see Israel as our greatest ally? And this is my black mate. He's a British as me or you in your Sipnat days. I have not actually. It's funny you say that, because even back then when I used to support Tommy Robinson and the like, even at that time I thought it was a little bit strange that there was a lot of like British flags, but then there was also Israeli flags. And I didn't really think too much of it, but I still thought it was pretty strange with that. I'm like, well, like who's really Jewish here and all of that? It's like, that sort of idea. It wasn't until getting into this side of nationalism where I started to more look into it and realize that that camp, they're not really doing it for British people or even for free speech or anything like that at all. It's a complete op in regard to that, but. Anyway, Kraut and his buddies are the reason most of the old alt-right isn't on YouTube anymore. Scum, yeah, they're pretty much like massive douchebag, like hypersensitive douchebags regarding to that. But anyway, and also add on to that, what Joe has asked me in the chat. I did not have a black mate, nor even if I did have a black mate, I would not make a point about like, oh, he's just as British as you and me, mate. It was yeah, it's most of my friends in my lifetime have been mainly white, but anyway. When have the Israelis ever said they are our ally? Answer is never. I know. They've never been an ally whatsoever. It makes you wonder why we should be allies to them, but they can't. But they can't do the same for us. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? But anyway, speaking of civic nationalism, let's move right into the first topic of tonight, since we're almost half an hour into the show already. And I think I will do the show up until just before 7 o'clock, because I know Mark Laura will be streaming the Abbeywood Memorial, which I think I'll save that towards the end of the show anyway, but I'll post a link for that much later on. Anyway, let's move on to the first topic, which is Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder has dropped a giant bombshell regarding to big tech from Conservative Inc. or conservative media, whatever you want to call them. Well, I mean, we say conservative, but they're not really conservative whatsoever. Let me see here. I've read that one already. Did you check out the Sergeant's Affair, Chief Marie? I have not. Hashtag. I'll see if I can have a look at that later on. Let me see. Catch you guys later, guys. No worries, Woodlander, but thank you very much for listening in, and I hope to see you later. Take care. I spent weeks getting. This is from Roy Herbert. I spent weeks getting rid of the wood chip wallpaper when I moved into my house. Fair enough, yeah. I actually need to ask what type of pattern this wallpaper is, because I might want to do something with maybe a similar pattern or maybe the exact same pattern, but who knows? But we'll definitely wait and see with that. Right then. So, Steven Crowder dropped a giant bombshell within big tech and within conservative conservative media and the likes. He's made a video about it. There's been a lot of talks about it. Tim Pool, of course, being the fence-sitting bundle of sticks, as he always is, tries to take both sides, being very on the side of Crowder, but they still be on the side of the Daily Wire and also Ben Shapiro, for many reasons. There's people like Jeremy, aka the Quartering, or as Mr. Macro would accurately call him, the Quarter Pounder, would make up these points about how Crowder is right and this is all about money making for these people. And it's like, guys, is anyone really that surprised? I mean, look, this is the Daily Wire, which is partly owned by Ben Shapiro, who we all know that Ben Shapiro is a Jewish Zionist. And what exactly is the number one thing that that Jewish Zionists love dearly? Money. But anyway, so let's have just a quick look here. Can't walk the dog off my back on happy pills at the moment. No worries, has that. No worries. Let me see here. Right. I mean, I don't really want to play the video because, again, many people have seen it over and over. And let me check on something here. Sorry, just real quick, and then we'll get back onto that. Let's see here. Don't know what this is. Oh, crap. Wait a minute. I don't know what that's about. Josh Ratcliffe, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. I appreciate you being here. What is this? Accept all. That's for... Wait, has Kenny opened the... okay. Okay, that's... Yeah, fine, and that's no worries. All right, I'll have a look at that later. Anyway, right then, let's have a look at this. Okay, so... now, what the contract... Crowder does go over. To be fair, I mean, say what you want about Steven Crowder, that he's, very milquetoast, presenting, basic bitch type of conservative viewpoints and all of that. But I think, in fairness with Crowder, that is pretty. I think a lot of people will do the same in terms of looking at a contract like he's presenting in this video, and he's like, no, this is like one of the worst contracts I've ever seen from any company. Dots can get real quick. Funny how they complain about censorship when their dumb videos are always blasted into my recommendations. I mean, yeah, especially when it comes to Jordan Peterson, because he was like recommended like over and over again. Now look at him; he's working for the Daily Wire now. So if I get my notes up here, and I'll see if I can get the. Now we're not going to watch the video in its entirety, of course, but we're going to have a look at some bits and pieces here and there. There's another video I also want to have a look into as well that does tie into what we're talking about just now. And the video is from the Daily Wire, of course, by Jeremy Boring. The guy's name is. Again, it kind of ties into it as well. But let me see if I can get this up here. Start actually sharing the screen. Hold on, I'll remove that. Share the screen. All right, let's see. Oh, and also, like what happened with the previous episode, if there's a point where it gets cut off or like a bad connection, I'll get back into the stream and see if I can get the sword as well, because that happened when Melissa was on the show, but hopefully it doesn't happen this time around, but we'll see. Anyway, so again, we'll just look at this video just rather briefly, not like the full extent, but anyway, here's the most recent video for this. Only came out yesterday by Steven Crowder. It's time to stop, and let's just have a quick gander of this. And then have a look at the next video. So 3, 2, 1.
StopBigCon.com now exists to begin with. It's been a while. Either this has to stop, or I'm going to have to stop. Either this, what I'm about to discuss, has to stop, or I don't know. This may just not be for me anymore. So let me explain. Give me a few minutes of your time because context matters here. I ask that you don't skip ahead. Won't take very long. This has been a long time coming. This is a conversation that I've actively avoided, sidestepped, and I've hoped and prayed that it not be necessary behind the scenes for a long while, but that's no longer possible. So if you've watched for the last decade, you know that I've always made it clear that we here at Mug Club are in the business of serving you, the viewer, you watching, listening right now. I've also made it clear that I wouldn't be in the business of attacking other conservatives, regardless of disagreements or personal issues. And I've always explained my logic was relatively simple. I believe that the world was better with more voices out there rather than less, regardless of minute differences, considering the magnitude of the battle that we are genuinely fighting for our country right now. But for the first time, I have to say that I believe many of those in charge in the right-leaning media are actually at odds with what's best for you, the viewer, the customer, and more importantly, the country. We here at Mug Club, we thought that we were all in this together, that we were fighting the media, entertainment, industrial complex. We thought that we were all genuinely taking it to big tech. But too many of those in charge of the big conservative platforms are verifiably in bed with them.
Oof.
Big tech is in bed with big con.
Now, again, like, it's... I'm kind of in the middle here with that. On one hand, as I said, it's not really much of a surprise that all the stuff has been going on behind the scenes, because I think we all know for a fact that there's a lot of connections, a lot of deals behind the scenes with some conservative talking heads and talking to some people within the big tech industry. It's not really that much of a surprise here, but it's kind of it's neat to see that someone like Crowder is also kind of stepping up and saying, like, look, this is pretty bad. What you're doing. I not only do I disagree with it, but I'm not entirely a fan of it. I think that this needs to be stopped or needs to be changed. So which is pretty risky when you think about it. And also we'll have a look at some of the stuff that's within the contract that Crowder and others have not signed for obvious reasons, because even the contract, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. We'll just continue from there. Then I'll showcase what was actually in or some parts of the pages of what was actually in the contract, and then continue on from there.
The people you thought.
And also, sorry, just real quick, I've also noticed as well when watching this video that Crowder does come off as pretty rattled. So I again, because I don't know whether or not if maybe this is all fake and maybe he's only acting and this is all just a giant act, but I don't know. I think I really have no idea. I think for me anyway, I really hope it doesn't come off as an act, but it does kind of come off as if like he's pretty rattled and maybe to the point where he's pretty nervous about talking about this. Maybe for somewhat obvious reasons, but maybe because of the people involved and who those types of people are. But anyway, continuing from there.
The people I thought were fighting for you, a lot of it has been a big con. Now, I'm specifically avoiding naming names or going after individuals in this video because I genuinely hope that those I'm addressing, and you know who you are, have a change of heart. It's never too late to do the right thing. Guys, this is a genuine plea. We can all do better. We can all do better. It doesn't have to be this way. And please, don't make me have to provide receipts. To the others out there who have now been able to verify, have been locked into exploitative contracts that I have the luxury of not having to sign, which is why I'm doing this. Those of you out there who've been locked into this and you know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. I've got something for you before this video is done. So there are a few points to address.
I'm just going to...
Effectively, full...
Right, so here's one part of the contract that reads maybe some stuff that may be pretty similar to what people might I think there was some people within the conservative right that talked about this as well. I think what's her name? That Tommy Laren, I think it was. She spoke about this when she was working for the Blaze. And at first, I actually thought that might be the same company that was referring to this, because if it was a Blaze, because Tommy Laren worked for the Blaze and she had a very similar situation with this. But anyway, as it reads, Mark writes, of course, blacked out. I wonder what exactly what's exactly being blacked out here. But anyway, will maintain the exclusive right to create and sell Crowder and Crowder content branded merchandise. All God damn it, remuneration, all remuneration that's for the blacked out and exploitation of these rights is included in the fee. Email list. Blacked Out will maintain the exclusive right to manage, grow, and monetize all Crowder email lists during the term. All remuneration for the exploitation of these rights is included in the fee. So even again, I'll talk about that after this part here with the social media. Social media management. Blacked Out will have the exclusive right to manage, curate, and monetize Crowder's official Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Snapchat, Rumble, and other social media accounts, excluding Crowder's existing personal Twitter and Instagram accounts during the term. Additionally, Blacked Out will have the perpetual and exclusive right to create, own, manage, curate, and monetize all social media accounts on any social media or similar platform as determined by Blacked Out on the Crowder content or shows, and of course all monetization with that. So it's quite a sight to see, even though it might not be much of a surprise to almost anybody, but they don't even have merch rights at that point anymore. The email list, they don't really have much rights anymore, with the exception of Twitter and Instagram. All their social media accounts are not really owned by them. And this just, I spoke about this on Twitter this morning, but this really comes off as a very Talmudic sell your soul type of contract. And again, we all know exactly who is one of the founders or CEOs or editor-in-chiefs, whatever you want to call them, of the Daily Wire, and that would be one of the Ben Shapiro. And as I mentioned, he's a Jewish Zionist. So I wouldn't be really that surprised that this type of contract would surface. In fact, there's something that also ties into that as well. If I can get up here. Fee reductions. Let's have a look at this, right? Fee reductions. Daily content. If Crowder fails for any reason to deliver 192 episodes of the Daily Show, including any and all ad reads and blacked out promo reads approved and deemed satisfactory by the company, $100,000 reduction in the fee per instance. For clarity, anytime Crowder misses a single episode of the daily content without written blacked out, the fee will be reduced by $100,000, which is a lot. Which that's definitely like a large amount of money to for your average Joe type of person. But I guess for these people, because I think with this contract, Crowder was offered, I think it was $50 million, if I'm not mistaken, which I mean is a lot, especially. But the side thing about that deal is it would come with this type of contract. So again, say what you want about Crowder, at least he had a bit of somewhat principles. It didn't go through with this overall contract, because even he when you have Crowder talking about how this seems like a really bad contract, it's bad when even Crowder is saying that it's a bad contract. But the type of contract from the Daily Wire. Continuing there, monthly and quarterly content. If Crowder fails to deliver monthly content in any month or any of the quarterly content in any quarter, including any and all ad reads and blacked out promo reads approved and deemed satisfactory by the company, $250,000 reduction in the fee per instance. For clarity, anytime Crowder misses a single example of the monthly and or quarterly content without written blacked out approval, the fee will be reduced by $250,000. annual content. If Crowder fails to deliver annual content in any year, including any and all ad reads and blacked out promo reads approved and deemed satisfactory by the company, $1 million reduction in the fee per instance. For clarity, anytime Crowder misses a single example of the annual content without written approval, the fee will be reduced by $1 million. Reset the fee reduction calendar resets each year. Disability: in the event of temporary disability or serious illness that prevents Crowder from performing, the fee will be reduced on a pro rata basis, not subject to the fee reduction scheduled above. Wow.
Content. All these contracts came with 3, 4, 5 ad reads per show, which would fundamentally change what this show is. Got to get those dollar bills. If I failed to do that, it would be a $250,000 reduction. Fee will be reduced. Content strike. Let's start with the demonetization. There's another
part. Wait a minute.
Any demonetization or sponsor boycott. Look, let me read this to you.
Oh, this part, this might be the last part with the contract that's mentioned, but then we'll move on to the next video from there. So let's have a look at this.
With people who claim to be conservative, but will penalize you 25% for any demonetization or sponsor boycott. Look, let me read this to you. If any of the major platforms, oh no, sorry, that's the second one. Let me go back to the first one. There's another 20%. It's 45%. You get a content strike. Let's start with the demonetization. If blank is boycotted or dropped by more than 50% of the advertising partners, the company is not able to replace them within 90 days, the fee will be reduced by 25%. That's a sponsorship boycott. So that's saying, hey, liberals, boycotts work. They work on our guys. We'll punish them for you. Let me go on. Specifically, YouTube demonetization. If any of the major platforms issues a content strike such that Crowder cannot be monetized on such platform, and the company is not able to resolve the issue within 90 days, the fee will be reduced by 25% moving forward. Now, I thought this was a mistake because, these people maybe didn't know who I am, that we've been demonetized for 3 years. No, it's made very clear to me in no uncertain terms. This is what's sent out to everybody. And then if you get a strike, meaning a suspension, another 20% reduction. And then another 20% of it happens on Apple. And then another 10% of it happens on Facebook. And then another 10% of it happens on Spotify. Imagine you're deplatformed, as we've seen in the past, where all of the major entities decide to remove you in one day. Rather than having a conservative alternative, you would now be down to 5 to 15% of the revenue of your contract. Think about this for a second. Those in charge, the big conservative, the big con, and it really is the biggest con going right now, they're making it known in their contracts that they will enforce the guidelines of big tech and punish conservatives on their behalf. Don't worry, Wojcicki. Trust me, these conservatives will stay in line. If they get demonetized, we take away 25% of their operating budget. Take another 20% away if they get a hard strike. Hey, don't worry, Zuckerberg. We've got your back. Hope to see you at the UFC Apex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that's what happens when you work with Jewish people. But anyway, I've even seen people in the chat saying, "Oh, they shut it down." Well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really that much of a surprise, is it? But that's what happens when you have people like Ben Shapiro who are part of that clan and all. Well, I say clan, but part of that tribe and all of that. This is what happens. Now, there's a bit of a question that makes me think. I don't know if anyone else within nationalism actually might think of this as well, but actually, this is something I wanted to ask everyone in the chat just now. Would you all think that because of this happening, because of Crowder calling it out for what it is, do you think this might be the case that maybe Crowder might move slightly further to the right, maybe become more of less of a civic net, less of a Ben Shapiro the individual. Yeah, I know, right? Do you think Crowder might become less of a civic nationalist or something like that, equivalent like that in America, to maybe more being more like your Mike Penovich, your Warren Balos, your Emily Eukises, you like basically a more ethno-nationalist type of people? Now, I'm not saying that that would be the case. I mean, just after seeing that, but maybe he might stay in his own space. I don't know, but I mean, you never know. I mean, like anything can happen at this point. Crowder won't change. Is not that profitable going into our spheres. Or sorry. Crowder won't change. It's not that profitable going into our spheres. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's because I was thinking that as well because there was a post by actually I want to check if it's still there on Twitter. I don't know if it was like Photoshop on Telegram, but there was a post by Elijah Schaefer, I think his name is. Um, I want to see if maybe if I can't find it on Twitter, I'll see if I can find it on Telegram. Let me see. Schaefer. Let's see. Right. Let me just check this real quick. Carl Benjamin or Sargon of Akkad, no surprise there. But there was a post, and again, I don't know if this was true or accurate, or maybe this was like Photoshop in any way, shape, or form. But Eric Schaefer put up on Twitter that it was a pretty spicy type of post on Twitter. It was like something to do with like a black sun type of thing, but I don't know if maybe if that's actually the case. But I think it's too early to say, but it is the start of people like him realizing that what they believe is fundamentally corrupt. Yeah, fair point, Doskin. Fair point. Right. Let me see if I can see it here on. Oh, what's the third PA program, Moody? That's by English Weather on my Telegram. That would be PA Talk, which is live at 8:30 tonight. I just thought I'd mention that real quick. Let's see if I can't find it here, but Eliza Schaefer again. I've seen this. I think it was Eric Stryker that posted this on Telegram. Where I don't know if it was true or maybe if it was Photoshop, but it kind of looked real to me. But I don't know. Sec. I want to see if I can. Elijah Schaefer still luring into the JK. I see it. You absolutely love to see it when keeping the pressure off of this. Right. Okay. No, I don't think I can see it at the moment. Program later on, and I mean with that, but I think maybe the tides will turn. Again, I don't know if maybe that would be the case, but maybe in some way, shape, or form, the tides may be changing, and maybe some people might be awakened to what's going on just now with the absolute corruption. But picking guys, I've never liked these people. I never will do. Fair enough. That's a fair point. I like Crowder. He's all right from Martin. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Bill Athing is in the chat with us as well. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. The Black Sun is a Ukrainian freedom fighter symbol. Nothing spicy about that. Fair enough. Right. Okay. But I just thought it was interesting if it was Eric Schaefer or Elijah Schaefer that posted that on his Telegram. I just thought that was a bit interesting that someone like at least according to him and his folk that they might think of that as a bit edgy type of thing, but I don't know. Bailey X Crowder is one of the I will use my second amendment to fight for your right to grow weed with your gay husband. We would fall to someone he would fall to someone like Friedman if he ever moved further right. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it might be a bit of a wake up call to some people, but again, I mean, again, people can change, and maybe they can have a look into it further, and then maybe see that maybe it was all just a complete facade or whatever. But maybe they might still be the same as they are. Who knows? But I think it's only time will tell with that. Maybe we'll see in the next coming weeks, months, maybe maybe a year or two. But we'll definitely wait and see with that. I guess the moral of the story when it comes to this overall bombshell bombshell, I use that term loosely, from Stephen Crowder is, of course, never trust Jews. But anyway, one last comment from Rigor Mortis. Look at what they did to Kanye. I think Crowder does not want that. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah, because we all know that Kanye was completely screwed over by almost everybody. And it's funny because those are the same people that did that to Ye or Kanye West are the same people who will turn around and say, oh, there's no such thing as Jewish influence in American society. And yet, look what happened to him. Look what happened to him. But anyway, let me move on to the next topic. And then we'll see. And also, folks, what we'll do is for the last half an hour of the show is with Entropy, we'll do like a short Q&A. So if you want to send in a question through Entropy, be it paid or unpaid questions, again, the link should be pinned in the chat just now. If you want to ask me a question there, just enter them by clicking the link and enter your question in the Entropy chat, and I will answer them towards the last half an hour of tonight's show. And with that, I'm going to see what else to get here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm going to see. Right, I'll post this first as well. And also, again, I mentioned this on the show again, just in case. If you want to support the show financially through donations, I would say the best alternative with that, as I mentioned at the start, would be PayPal directly. So again, it's only if you really want to. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. That will go towards stuff for the show, and also some help for me regarding to that in terms of like living cost type of thing. But let me see here. Owen Benjamin spoke to Kanye. That's why he's gone quiet. Yeah, fair enough. To be honest, at least we know why Peterson never made that a message to Jay's video. You know, that's actually a really good point, because a lot of people, because I mean, Peterson did made the those types of videos for Christians and for Muslims, but never one for Jewish people, which, you know, that should make you think, doesn't it? But anyway, let's move on to the next topic since we mentioned those just now. What do I want to talk next? Do I want to talk about the Jacinda Ardern story, or do I want to talk about the Town Hall story? Well, Town Hall, that's the name of the publication. I'll let the audience decide. Right, I've got two more articles up here that are pretty relevant to what we're talking about just now. So I have either the Jacinda Ardern, New Zealand Prime Minister story, that were her resignation, or she's going to be resigned during February. That's one. And then there's the Town Hall story, where it talks about a pedophile ring within the suburban areas in America from homosexual parents. So that's two. So type 1 if you want the New Zealand PM story, or type 2 if you want the suburban homosexual story regarding to that. And I'll let the audience decide from there, and then see. She's leaving a sinking ship. Yeah, of course. Just say horse face. Right. Okay, horse face. Right. You know, now that you mention that, she does come off as looking like she has a horse face with that. Right. 5-1 so far. I'll just wait a couple more just in case. 1-1. Wow. Okay, it's overwhelmingly 1, which is pretty surprising. But all right. Okay. Ardern off to the glue factory. I mean, it looks like it. Vote either horseface or Bam Bam. 2 is just black pill material about things we already know. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, but all right. It seems like the overwhelming majority of the vote is the New Zealand or the horse face story. So I'll just talk about that just now, and then we'll move on to the next one after that. So now this one was written by The Guardian, and we all know how cringe and gay The Guardian can really be, but let's have a chat. Well, I did posted the article for the link in the chat just now. If you guys want to have a look at it, I'll post it in my URL space there, and then let's wait and see with that. Right, that should be ready to go. Now, I was pretty surprised by this news because, like I said, well, I was gonna say, this news came to me last night. I think there was maybe like early in the morning, like maybe 1 or 2, maybe no, I think it was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, or maybe 12, maybe, but I couldn't really sleep then. But I saw the news and I was like, wow, I was pretty surprised at this. But anyway, let's have a look at this. Jacinda Ardern, or Horseface, resigns as Prime Minister of New Zealand. Labour leader to stand down no later than the 7th of February, saying she no longer had enough in the tank to do the job. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to why she's leaving or she's resigning as the New Zealand Prime Minister. Now, a lot of people believe that it's because of the recent. I think there were recent polls that came out because I think this year will be the upcoming New Zealand elections coming up for who's going to be like the next party coming in, that type of thing. So there's a lot of people sensing that there's the polling that both Ardern and the as I said, the Labour, the New Zealand Labour Party are not really are pretty worried about the polling, that they're not really gaining much support anymore. And gee, I really wonder why that may be. I mean, we've seen what happened in the past couple or even almost 3 years of COVID, when that whole thing came and went, and we all know how her and and New Zealand were acting like during the whole pandemic and the whole lockdown issues. I mean, it was so bad it made North Korea blush, to say the least, with regard to that. But and so of course, you know, with the lack of businesses have to be shut down, you know, the fact that she was controlling New Zealand with an iron fist and being incredibly authoritarian, you can imagine that her support would be dwindling down as the years go by. Another theory that popped up is possibly to do with the fact that there was something that may have came out, and maybe she was blackmailed, and then before that story comes out, this is a way for her to maybe try and get out of it before she gets not rejected, but forcibly resigned as Prime Minister of New Zealand. I mean, I don't know how spicy it would be, but I would imagine it would be something that maybe that occurred back when she was maybe a bit younger. I don't know, but there's multiple theories that occurred. Or as people pointed out in the chat, maybe it's the fact that like she knows that she's in a sinking ship, and she'd rather just leave basically leave the ship sinking and then just go on her merry way, basically. But I don't know. There's many theories to speculate, but let's have a look at this. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has said she is resigning in an unexpected announcement that came as she confirmed the national election for October. At the party's first caucus meeting, I think it called whatever, of the year on Thursday, Ardern said she no longer had enough in the tank to do the job. It's time, she said. She added, I'm leaving because with such a privileged role comes responsibility. I'm sure it does. The responsibility to know when you are the right person to lead and also when you are not. Yeah, you clearly were not the right person, sweetheart. But anyway, I know what this job takes, and I know that I no longer have enough in the time to do it justice. It's that simple, she said. Her term as Prime Minister will conclude no later than the 7th of February, but she will continue as an MP until the election this year. I am human. Politicians are humans, are they? We give all we give all that we can for as long as we can, and then it's time. And for me, it's time, she said. Ardern said she had reflected over the summer break on whether she had the energy to continue in the role and had concluded she did not. So, I mean, if I can maybe make this point real quick, again, I'm just going to state a fact. This is why you need a guy as a politician or prime minister or even as a president, because at least they can get the job done. But I just thought I would throw that out. Oh, how dare you? Like, women are just as capable. Really? Are they though? I mean, sure. I mean, I think that there could be some factors of women being, useful and all of that regarding to politics, or even when it comes to stuff like culture. But running a country with their own terms, nah, I don't think so, sweetheart. But anyway, Ardern became the world's youngest female head of government when she was elected prime minister back in 2017 at the age of 37. She has led New Zealand through the COVID-19 pandemic and one of the worst lockdowns or measures I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, and a series of disasters, including the terrorist attack on 2 mosques in Christchurch and the White Island volcanic eruption. And this is a quote from her again. She has been the most, oh no, maybe not from her, but anyway, this has been the most fulfilling 5.5 years of my life, but it's also had its challenges. Among an agenda focused on housing, child poverty, and climate change, we encountered a domestic terror event, a major natural disaster, a global pandemic, and an economic crisis, she said. Asked how she would like New Zealanders to remember her leadership, Ardern said, as someone who always tried to be kind. God, that's just so gay. But so yeah, not have them be remembered for being a great leader, not have them being remembered for helping the country, helping the people within the country. No. She hopes that people remember her for always trying to be kind. I'm sorry for swearing, but fuck off. Come on, give me a break. Oh my god, that's just as bad as Nicola Sturgeon. that's 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 just as bad as Nicola Sturgeon. Oh my god. Anyway, I hope I leave New Zealanders with the belief that you can be kind but strong, empathetic but decisive, optimistic but focused, and that you can be your own kind of leader, one who knows when it's time to go, Ardern said. Like, this is just such a quote. Again, with all the theories I've speculated, like it could be either or. I think that's the reason why she's leaving. It's not because of the fact, because look, as she said, she's been a New Zealand prime minister for about 5.5 years, almost 6 years. So why all of a sudden now, and especially what her and her country have went through with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, like the horrific terrorist attack in Christchurch, the natural disaster of like the volcanic eruption and all of that. Why all of it? Like she and her country went through all of that, but now all of a sudden she decided, you know what, maybe time's time and I need to maybe step down after that. It's like, but why all of a sudden now? And I honestly think it might be one of the reasons, as I listed earlier on, that maybe something occurred and this is like a way of trying to take a step back and maybe not get the much of the flack after the country gets completely just nuked at that point, if you will, regarding to that. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, here we go. Over the past year, Ardern has faced a significant increase of threats of violence. Is there any evidence of that? Particularly from conspiracy theorists and anti-vaccine groups infuriated by the country's vaccine mandates and lockdowns. She said, however, that the increased risk associated with the job were not behind her decision to step down. Right. Okay, then. So what could possibly be the reason? And this idea of like threats of violence, I mean, look, I don't condone any form of violence whatsoever, but regarding to this, but just to make this point, again, I highly doubt it would be some kind of anti-vaccine groups with that. I'm sure there would be some anger towards Ardern and her government because of the blatant authoritarian measures during the whole pandemic that occurred. But I'm sure that those people would never threaten any violence towards her or anything like that at all. But anyway, what could be done with that? Another quote, I don't want to leave the impression that the adversity you face in politics is the reason that people exist. Yes, it does have an impact. We are humans after all, but that was not the basis of my decision, she said. Ardern said she had no future plans other than to spend more time with her family. She thanked her partner, Clark Gayford. Gayford. Anyway, and daughter Nevi, well, I think it's maybe it sounds like Kiwi, I don't know, but anyway, New Zealand, anyway, who she gave birth to while holding office, as the ones that have sacrificed the most out of all of us. To her daughter, to her daughter, I guess, Mom is looking forward to being there when you start school this year, and to Clark, let's finally get married. Wait, they were not even married? Jesus Christ. Anyway, the Prime Minister's announcement came as a shock to many New Zealanders. During a brief flurry of speculation over Ardern's possible resignation in late 2022, the Prime Minister says she had no intention of doing so. Yet, here we are on the 19th of January 2023, or even the 18th, maybe it was announced yesterday. We got the news that actually, yes, she is stepping down. What an absolute surprise no surprise that is. In the weeks leading up to Thursday's announcement, there were no clues or leaks to suggest her resignation was on the cards. The news arrives as New Zealand enters a closely fought election year. Yeah, there we go. With the date of the vote announced for the 14th of October. So even just later on down the year, but this is a way of, again, this is just a theory, but this is possibly a way of like, well, if something does come out, then I'm just going to slowly make sure that I'm going to not take much of a hit when it does come out, or whatever the case may be. Polling over recent months had placed the Ardern-led Labour Party slightly behind the opposition National. Ardern said her decline in the polls did not prompt her decision to leave. I highly doubt that. But anyway, I'm not leaving because I believe we can't win the election, but because I believe we can and will, and we need a fresh set of shoulders for that challenge, she said. Who will replace Ardern is not yet clear. The Deputy Leader and Finance Minister, Grant Robertson, who would be considered a front-runner, said on Thursday that he would not be seeking the position. And the quote, I am not putting myself forward to the candidate for the leadership of the Labour Party, he said. The Labour caucus has 7 days to find out whether a new candidate holds more than 2/3 of support within caucus or the Parliament, whatever it's called, to become the new leader and Prime Minister. The vote for the new leader will take place on the 22nd of January. So about 2 or 3 days from now. Holy crap. So there we go. And if no one meets that threshold level of support, the leadership contest will go to the wider Labour membership. The national leader, Christopher Luxon, said Ardern had made a significant contribution to New Zealand in what is a difficult and demanding job, and called her a strong ambassador for New Zealand on the world stage. Her leadership in the aftermath of the Christchurch terror attacks was simultaneously strong and compassionate, and is something that she can be proud of, he added. All right, then. Well, there we go. So we'll just, I guess, move on. Well, maybe there's a last part. I might as well just read that. The Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, I hope I pronounced it right, paid tribute to Ardern, saying she has shown the world how to lead with intellect and strength. Okay. She has demonstrated that empathy and insight are powerful leadership qualities, but she was a blatant authoritarian during the whole pandemic. So, I mean, come on. Who are they kidding here? But anyway, we'll come back onto that. Opinionated Scotsman, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Who in their right mind would want to marry that? I don't know. Maybe someone really desperate, who knows? But anyway, Kerr for PA Young Scots, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Even Chief, hopefully the Kiwis vote for Action Zealandia in large numbers. Oh, well, let's hope. Again, I think that'll be something to keep an eye out and then see from there. But we'll just need to wait and see. She'll be replaced by another globalist puppet. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually would be the case. But Nivea, maybe Nivea. But anyway. She's off to jab baby. Oh, for God's sake, Martin. It's strange all the New Zealanders I've met have been weird, boring, and woke, and it's only country, and it's the only country where white idiots join in with the Maori stamp and dance. I know it's real weird that. Anyway, let's see. Linda Hunter, thank you very much for watching. Very suspicious about horse features. Nothing is easy with Albanies, or as I call it. Ah, dear. STV News right now. Oh, I wonder what's happening on STV News at the moment, Shinobi. But thank you very much for watching the show, Shinobi. Kenny Smith, thank you very much for watching the show. Thatcher was a traitor who conned her people on immigration in Europe. There we go. I think that was something that was talked about in the chat just now. Whites are becoming a minority in New Zealand. Whites are 71% in New Zealand. Jesus Christ. That's low numbers there in New Zealand. Holy crap. Mean and Moody sexism from English weather. That was a joke. Yeah, it was a joke. I see, right. And it's an indigenous man would be good. Yeah, for the New Zealand Prime Minister. We'll see. I'm human press X to doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, she's a lizard. Yeah, she left her power trip while it lasted. Yeah, indeed, indeed. Darren and Big Mike Obama should form a wrestling tag team. The Brothers Grimm. The thing is, makes no difference that as she will be replaced by another globalist clone. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We shall see with that. Right. Okay. Well, that's that then. So yes, Jacinda Ardern is now resigning as the Prime Minister of New Zealand. So I think it will be interesting in the next couple of days of who's going to be the next, of course, as people pointed out in the chat, the next globalist selected Prime Minister of New Zealand. And maybe it'll be also interesting with the election and on the 14th of October, I think it is. Maybe what's the name of the group Kerr mentioned in the chat? Action Zealandia. Maybe they might become a bigger party. Who knows? And maybe that'll be something to keep an eye out for this year. So during October, that would be really interesting. Time is that 12 minutes past 6, right? Just a quick alert as the wee hour here. God bless. So thank you very much, Linda Hunter. Thank you very much for showing up. Oh, I see. From Shinobi, showing all the trannies protesting today. Today, I would have thought they would be talking about the protest that happened last week. Yeah, that protest in Edinburgh Parliament was it last week? Because it was the 12th of that was literally that's been a week ago. Wow, time flies when you're having fun, folks. Anyway, just have quick look at the to Entropy. I'll just mention this real quick from Entropy as Bill Athling in the chat has donated $3 through Entropy as a super chat. Thank you very much, Bill. And he writes, Chief, have you read The Culture of Critique yet? No pressure. You know what, Bill? I'll be honest, have not read a single page whatsoever. I've also got another book from the conference back in October. It's a I think that book was called How It Was Done by Steve Smith. I bought that at the conference as well because I know Kenny was sitting at the stall. I've not even started reading that yet. I'm weird when it comes to reading. It's just I don't know. I think you know what? Maybe I'll see if I can give it a try tomorrow or maybe later on. I'll see from there. But I think I definitely should start reading a lot more and then kind of wait and see from there. But yeah, when it comes to that, thank you very much for the $3 donation, Bill. And regarding to the Culture of Critique, I still haven't read it yet, but I'll see if I can try and get started on that. Because I know I did say a long while ago that would be one of the books I wanted to talk about on the show, maybe do like a slight review on that type of thing, but we'll see. So thank you again for the $3 donation, Bill. Anyone else who wants to donate on Entropy as well, again, please, that would be much appreciated. The link will still be pinned there. Or if you don't want to do that, if you want to send a donation directly to myself, I would say PayPal will be the best alternative to that. And that the link for that should be in the description. But just in case if it doesn't work for some reason in the description because it acts all weird, in the description section in the stream. I'll just get the link up here, and then if you guys want, you can send in a little contribution for the show through my through my PayPal directly. And again, that could be going for living costs as well as any donation will go towards parts for the show, whether it be equipment or even for these subscription for the show type of thing, like StreamYard, and I can get working on multiple platforms like Odysee, for instance, and then we'll see from there with that. It's 0 degrees here, Linda, in the old country. Yeah, I think some places it's pretty cold at the moment. Although according to my I think it's from my phone as I'm seeing it here, it's about 5 degrees from where I'm living just now. Now, I don't know whether or not that's because I'm inside the house and maybe it's 5 degrees in the house, or if it's like that outside as well. I mean, I highly doubt it would be 5 degrees out, but I don't know. I really have no idea. I'm going to move on to the next final topic tonight, and then we'll do a short half an hour Q&A. I want to see if I can get my phone because it's in the charging area, or I have it charged up. I'm just going to get my phone real quick. Oh, my belly's showing. Oh my god. Let me see. 1 second. Huh. I haven't heard of them in a long time. I don't know why they're. It's weird. Sorry, folks. I just got a message from someone I've not spoken to in a long time. Don't know why they sent me a message about that, but anyway, thought that was a bit strange. But anyway, moving on from there. So battery should be fine. But I'll see if I can charge up maybe again later on. But anyway, seeing from there. So then let's move on to the last and final topic, and this, as people I've seen in the chat, there might be a point where maybe some people might think this might be a bit of a black pilling type of topic, but I think it's something that needs to be talked about as well, because we live in a society where people want to talk about how we live in a progressive utopia, whatever you want to say. Diversity is our strength and all of that, and these minority types would never do anything wrong. They would never harm a fly or anything like that of the sort. Well, here's an article that was published 2 days ago that might contradict that regarding to that. So I'm being extravagant tonight. I got the heating on. Well, good. Lucky you. That's good to hear. Let me see. Here's the article from Town Hall. Tapes. We investigated a suburban LGBTQ pedophile ring. Here's what we found. And it was written by I think it's Mia Cathell. Looks like some Asian chick. Anyway, so article was published on the 17th of January of this year. There is a video, but I don't know if we want to watch the video. We might as well just watch the video, and then we'll see if we can have a gander at the article in hand. And even as it says here, this is part 1 of a 4-part investigative series. So is this entire article part 1, and then maybe they'll come out with part 2 later on? I mean, well, this might be like maybe somewhat of an overarching article to talk about. I could possibly do that for the next episode or two, if it's going to be like a 4-part type of thing. But yeah, well maybe we'll do that. But anyway, let's have a gander at the video, and then we'll have a look at the article together. It looks like it's going to be a pretty long article, but if it means to be a bit of a 2-parter, then we'll kind of see from there. But anyway, let's have a look at this together. So 3, 2, 1.
They come in blazing with AK-47s or whatever.
How many people was it?
10, 15, a lot. They were doing like a drug bust or something.
Yeah, you can tell in Zach's mugshot that he has a big bruise on the left side of his face.
Yeah,
But
they slammed him against the floor in the foyer. He had bruises on his knees, his face. They slammed him on the floor, and I hate to say this, but I don't sleep in clothes, so they arrested me in my bed naked, put me in a cruiser with no clothes. I sat in the back of that cruiser from 11:30 to about 4 a.m. naked in the back seat of that cruiser while they searched our house for God knows what.
Yeah, man. Not only did the married men allegedly rape the two brothers who were adopted through a Christian special needs adoption agency, they were pimping out their children to nearby, oh God almighty, pedophiles in Atlanta area suburbs. Town Hall's follow-up investigation uncovered. This is bound to get dark,
They
folks.
seized the house, everything inside of it, and all of our cars on the property.
Sorry, I keep pausing it. 17-count indictment charges the Zuluak co-defendants with soliciting 27-year-old Hunter Clay Lawless and 25-year-old Luis Armando Vizcarro Sanchez to perform an act of prostitution with her daughter. Jesus. Yeah, this is going to get really dark, folks. Really dark.
I think they took our house because they think there was extra money coming in from somewhere, and we're like in our 30s and we have this big giant house, and they didn't think we could afford it.
What's this? Count 16 on behalf of the citizens of the state of Georgia do hereby charge and accuse William Dale Zulak and Zachary Jacob Zulak individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of pandering for persons under 18. For that, the said accused between the 30th day of December 2019 and the 28th day of July of 2022, the exact date of the offense being unknown to the grand jury in Walton County, Georgia, then and there unlawfully solicited Hunter Lawless to perform an act of prostitution with blacked out a person under 18 years of age in violation of OCGA 16612, contrary to the laws of the state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Williams Superior Court, Randy. Yes, yeah, there we go. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, folks. Snitched on the Zulaks, told local law enforcement he received numerous messages via Snapchat from Zachary about effing his son tonight and to stand by for images, videos of the adopted father's sexual. Oh, God.
I mean, can I ask you, does this guy know you at all, or is it some random thing he's just trying to, rat somebody? I mean, can I ask you that, or?
So last time he was here, I told him something, and I told you last time he was here, I told him something. I wrote him down something, gave it to him. It's something around those lines, but more.
Me and Zach worked our butts off for everything we've had.
Zachary admitted to sending the child pornography to less than a dozen people. Jesus Christ. So he admitted it then?
They called me out front again for fingerprints, and I saw the new charges that they're putting against, I'm assuming both of us. There's 17 charges.
At the bond hearing, the judge were presiding over the case, mentioned the prosecution possibly proceeding forward under the child sex trafficking statute of the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations, or RICO Act for short.
I mean, are you worried about the boys? Of where they are, or?
I mean, yeah, but I definitely can't talk about that.
Our business is our business. The couple allegedly told their sons. Happens in their home. Oh God.
I don't want to say it, but brace yourself for the truth. Okay? Just don't give up on us. You talk to Zach. Tell him I still love him.
I can't look around other people. I just need somebody who doesn't hate us.
The Zolots have been indicted by a grand jury on charges of incest, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, felony sexual exploitation of children, and felony prostitution of a minor. This is okay. This is getting really dark. Each of the co-defendants is facing over 9 life sentences. They have pleaded not guilty. The audacity of these people. So I'm assuming there's like a lot of evidence to back up the claims that actually, yes, like this is the case. This is exactly what's happened. And they pleaded not guilty. Wow. Both boys were rescued in the midnight raid on the Zulot mansion. They are back in foster care, which, I mean, the really messed up and tragic thing about that is that there's a possibility that they might, even going back to foster care, there's a possibility that they might go through that same horrific time or wherever you want to call it, even in foster care with that. But it's a shame. It really is a shame with that. So. Right, and that's that video. So, the article, which is, as it reads, part 1 of a 4-part investigative series. So, again, there's a content warning. A months-long town hall investigation reveals disturbing new details about the affluent LGBTQ activist couple accused of sodomizing their young adopted sons, now ages 9 and 11, and disturbing homemade child CP or child pornography of the sexual abuse. Half a year after the shocking story made national news, Town Hall is the only outlet following up on a criminal case in Georgia that has since seen 0 headlines written about it. I wonder why. We found that it's far, far worse than what was first reported. What was first reported? I want to know. Everything you need to know about the gay couple accused of abusing their... Right, okay, so... Okay. I see. Not only did the married men allegedly rape the 2 boys who were adopted through a Christian special needs adoption agency, they were pimping out their children to nearby pedophiles in Atlanta area suburbs. Town Hall's follow-up investigation discovered recorded jailhouse calls, a trove of never-before-seen court documents, and testimony from a family member who spoke exclusively with Town Hall uncover the extent of the physical and emotional trauma the 2 elementary school-age brothers endured, as well as the red flags that the state overlooked during the same-sex couple's faster-than-expected adoption process. All right, so here's part 2. Right. Just how big was the operation led by the LGBTQ couple who abused their adopted sons? This is the Instagram page, I'm assuming, from CloudHunter89. It's been just over a year as their parents. We have loved every moment of it. Was a little rough starting out, but we beat the 1-year mark. This was our 2nd year to the ocean. Last year was the first time they've seen it. I just love how this picture turned out. Our little adoption family, the Zulot family on vacation at the beach. William Zulot Instagram. As Town Hall reported in August, the suspects were darlings of the LGBTQ media. They were part of an anti-gay hate campaign promoting hashtag No Hate and Out magazine, which holds the nation's highest circulation among LGBTQ monthly publications, has repeatedly asked them if its website's Pride page can feature their photos taken at the Atlanta Pride Parade. So the charges. The adoptive father is a 33-year-old government worker, William Dale Zulot Jr., and 35-year-old banker, Zachary Zach Jacob Zulot, who was previously accused of raping a child from Oxford, Georgia, have been indicted by a grand jury on charges of incest, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, felony sexual exploitation of children, and felony prostitution of a minor. William and Zachary are each facing 9 life sentences. They've pleaded not guilty. William left and Zachary Zula write mugshots. According to the copy of a 17-count indictment, Town Hall was obtained. The adoptive dads allegedly performed oral sex on both boys. This, again, just be prepared because this is going to get really, really dark at this moment here. There is a content warning for like a reason here. Force the children to perform oral sex on them and anally rape their sons. In at least one instance, the anal rape injured the older Zulot child, who just turned 11 years old in mid-December. Court records indicate that the child sexual abuse stretches back to as early as late 2019 and intensified in January of 2021, March 2021, and December of 2021, as the offenses dates are listed. The brothers were enrolled in 3rd and 4th grade, respectively, before the men were caught in a midnight July bust at the Zula mansion, which ended with Zachary tackled to the ground and William hauled out of the house naked by armed officers. The two Zulot boys whose faces were censored by Zachary Zulot in 1st and 2nd grade, holding academic certificates from the 2019 to 2020 school year, when the child sexual abuse is alleged to have started. William admitted to forcing his 11-year-old adopted son to perform an act of sodomy, aka oral copulation, on him with the intent to satisfy his own sexual desire. Jesus. Reads a sworn affidavit filed in support of William's overnight arrest back in July 27th. Town Hall has redacted the children's names to protect the identities of the underage victims. Let's see. An updated criminal says, I would continue on from there, but I mean, I thought this might be something to maybe talk about, but I never realized just how messed up this story was intended to be. It takes a lot for me to get uncomfortable with that kind of stuff, but yeah, even I can't continue on with that. I'm sorry. That's just it's dark. It's really dark. And this whole argument that in fact there was actually I was gonna say like this argument that please don't use the phrase pig apart for the love of what is good and holy, I'm not even religious. I hope they get locked up with the most devout Muslims. I mean, it's possible, Aunt Sally, but again, I was going to make a point about that in the case of all these people that believe that these gay couples should get married, they should adopt, and all of that. Well, I think this is a prime example of why maybe they shouldn't really be allowed to adopt children, because there was a poll, or maybe it was like a study or a statistic I remember seeing, where children who are adopted and they get adopted by gay couples or lesbian couples are more likely to be more likely to be abused than if their parents were like a straight couple. I think I can't remember where exactly I've seen that, but that I have seen that before from other statistics or other studies, and it never gets talked about, nor does it ever get brought up, because it completely shatters the whole narrative within the LGBTQ society, or whatever you want to call it. That most gay men try to target young underage boys. These degenerates are always recruiting that lifestyle. Needs, I mean, it definitely is something that definitely happens in reality. That I think that it's something. It's dark. I know it's just like the whole grooming gang scandal, but it's something to me that I think that still needs to be talked about, because this is only in America, but I'm sure there may be other cases that are similar to this. Them figures are true, Chief. Well, that's good. That's indeed excellent. I'll see if I can figure out where exactly I found them, because I remember seeing that before in terms of those figures. But also, just to make a point real quick, to people that say, oh, well, that's only just like one example and that only happened in America, 2 points. One, I'm sure that there are multiple pedophile rings all across America. I mean, that's only just one example in Atlanta, and two, if you think it's only happening in America, for all we know, it could be also happening here in Britain. I mean, we all know about the whole grooming gang scandal that occurred. What makes you think like something that happened like that in America is not happening, or what makes you think it's not happening in here in Britain? Could be happening right now for all we know in this case. Gay men are also 17 times more likely to have an STD than hetero men. I remember seeing that as well in the past. So yeah, I think I'll just move on from there because it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about. But I think just like with the grooming gang scandal, it's something that needs to be talked about. But I think I'll postpone that story for maybe a later date because I never realized just how dark that story can really be with that. So. They should be hung, and those Christian arseholes are hung next to if I was an advocate. The people that put these children with these sick bastards should be held accountable too. No, I agree with that, Aunt Sally. I think people like the foster care system that never does any background checks or anything like that at all, that they should be held accountable. Because even in the article we just read, it talks about how the process, it does take a bit of a time or a bit of a long time for the process to be completed. But with those two, it seemed like it was a pretty fast process, which I mean, now I don't want to look too much into that, but again, that should really make you think like, well, why would it take them such a fast time for a process like that? So yeah, that might make you think. Let me see. The Frankfurt School reflected this evil agenda on the white Western nations. This is the thing. This is the result they wanted. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that. I was an advocate. Give them to the Arabs. Yeah, I could see that. Incredible that this is a perfect. Incredible that this pervert clearly sees itself as the victim in the piece. Yeah, I know. Even to the point of pleading not guilty. Which I mean, the audacity of those people, the audacity. Anyway, we'll move on from there with that. We'll definitely move on with that. It needs shouting about who will listen. This goes right to the top. Epstein, yeah, and indeed, James Hayworth, indeed. Right, let's move on from there with that. So let's move on to the last and final part of the show before we end it, but just before 7, so that everyone can get time to move on over to the Abbey Wood Memorial stream with Mark and Laura. I think Laura will be appearing in that stream as well, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so what to do is, folks, in the last half an hour, I'll just put the StreamYard link just in case if it's not shown in the chat. If you want to ask me any questions, be it paid or unpaid questions, you can just enter those questions in the Entropy chat, which I'll just post it in the chat just now. English Rose is not with us at the moment. She's really busy with other things at the moment. She messaged me privately to mention that, but before the show started, just to let me know that she'll try and make it, but if she doesn't, then it's because she's really busy with other things, which I mean, it's understandable, especially we're in the middle of January and there's a lot of stuff going on just now. But anyway, so there's the Entropy link just now if you want to ask me a question, be it paid or unpaid question. And lastly, I'll mention this real quick. If you want to send any donations through to help support me and the show, I would say the best alternative to that would be PayPal. And if you want to send any donation or financial contribution of any sort, then PayPal will be the best place to do that at the moment. I do have a Buy Me a Coffee, but it's been acting a little bit weird. I'm still trying to fix that at the moment, but I would say PayPal would be the best alternative to send any donations through. And that is, of course, if you want to with that. And ask me any questions for the last half an hour. Again, the Entropy stream or Entropy link will be in the chat just now. Still appreciate the question from Bill Athling and also the $3 donation. Again, thank you very much for that, Bill. Thank you for your kind generosity. Homosexuality was regarded as a mental illness across the Western world for centuries for a reason. Well, there we go. But now it's been well, I think we all know the reason why it's been accepted in today's society, but Anyway. I'm gonna just quickly share the memorial stream in my Telegram page as well. Hold on a second. Right. Streamed 7 p.m. UK time. A memorial stream dedicated to Abby Wood, better known within our community as the Anglo-Saxon teacher. Abby was a passionate and much-loved nationalist who believed in teaching children how to read and write through traditional methods. Abby was a content creator as well as a producer of educational material that became part of the PA alternative curriculum. Much to our sadness, Abby passed away on the 10th of December 2022, and she will be greatly missed. And you will catch that stream either on Odysee, DLive, and Radio Albion. I'll post the links for that just later on, and then we'll see from there with that. So yeah, definitely check out that stream at 7. And then after that, Mark will also be appearing on PA Talk at 8:30, which again, that will be on Odysee through a separate channel on Size channel. That will be posted later on, of course. I can imagine that the Abby Wood stream is going to be really sad, very, what's the word? A very, I'm trying to think of another word for sad, but I had it in my head as well, but I can't remember for the life of me. It's a very somber type of stream. Because I first met her, I've spoke to her. I actually had her on the Mood of the Nation one time as a guest, and sorry, I'm just reading. How did an Anglo-Saxon teacher die? I personally don't want to know how she died. Maybe we'll find out in the stream coming up. I mean, I don't know if maybe or maybe it might be best not to maybe wonder how she died, because I don't know. I think it's a bit like uncomfortable territory, in my opinion, when it comes to that. But I don't know. Solemn was another good word for that. English weather. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it would be a more solemn type of stream, because I first spoke to her a couple of times in the past. I've had her on my show. I can't remember what episode it was, but I remember I had her on as a guest, and this was before the March conference back last year. This was when I gave my speech also, and even after I gave my speech, a lot of people congratulated me, and she was actually one of them. In fact, she even said I was the black horse or the dark horse of the speakers, that she never expected it to be that good type of thing. Which of course I thanked her for that, but it was quite a good expression, like as the dark horse of the 6 speakers. But I appreciate her comments with that. But yeah, she was a pretty lovely woman when I spoke to her on the show, and when I met her in person at the conference. And when I've heard about the news back in December, I'm sure, like everyone else, I couldn't believe it. I actually didn't want to believe it. I actually thought maybe she was ill, and maybe she would, maybe get better after her illness. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and she passed away. I met her at the couple of times at the conference. She looked well to me. It was surprising. I think a lot of people were really shocked by the news. Even seeing people in the chat. Abby was lovely. Yes, it's sad. Lovely lady, bless her. I'm just shocked she died. She wasn't that old. I don't think she was that old. Let me just see, because on the wait a minute here. Because with the, I won't share the screen, but with it, but she was born on the 20th of November 1956, and she died on the 10th of December of last year. So she would have been 2006. She would have been 50, but in her 70s, maybe, I think, or maybe in her 60s, almost in her 70s, I think. But yeah, she wasn't really like old, but it's still surprising nonetheless. About 65. Yeah, she wasn't like. That's actually the same age as my grandparents. Now that I think of it, holy shit! But yeah, it's sad. Yeah, it really is sad indeed. 65, 67, around about a bit slightly older than my grandparents, but yeah, it's it's scary to think that even at that age, a lot of things can happen when it regard to that. I just received before I get into that, sorry. Yeah, someone typed in 14 in the chat for Abby Wood. Ugly Truth is doing that. Yeah, I'll even put 14 in the chat as well. Definitely. Yeah, for those who haven't done so already, please type in 14 in the chat for Abby Wood as a way of remembering her, because she will be greatly missed. I think she was taken far too early, in my opinion, and yeah, she will be sadly missed. Will be sadly missed indeed. And I think if you think this part of the show will be really sad, just wait until the next stream at 7 p.m. I think it's going to be, I would say, be prepared. It's going to be a really sad stream indeed. So, indeed. And with that, I also want to thank Mr. Peter Walker. I think he's in the chat as well. Kindly donated £10 to me directly through PayPal. Thank you very much for doing that. I greatly appreciate your kind generosity. English Rose is in the chat. Hello, English Rose. Thank you very much for coming along. You did say that you come towards like, hello, sorry I'm late, too busy. No, completely fine. No worries. I think we're almost approaching the end. I don't see any questions pop through on Entropy, which I mean, it's no problem with that whatsoever. But yeah, it probably won't be sad. It may be a celebration of her life and achievements. Yeah, that is true on Sally. That would be the case. I just think for me it would be sad because she's no longer with us. But at the same time, you're right in saying that, yeah, it would be more of like a celebration of her life and her achievements, what she has accomplished, whether in the national scene or even outside of the national scene. But I hope Odyssey doesn't buffer for me tonight. I'm sure it won't be that bad, but I mean, I can understand why people would say that it will be a bit of a bother for some people when in terms of the buffering on Odyssey. But it is what it is, type of thing. It is what it is. But anyway, let me see. Any more questions pop through in Entropy? Nothing yet at the moment. That's completely fine. But again, Bill Athling, thank you for the $3 donation and also for your question earlier on. Peter Walker, thank you very much for your £10 donation through PayPal. Greatly appreciate your kind generosity. Is there anything? Yeah, Jody shared that's the Abbey Wood Memorial stream as well. That's completely fine, no worries. Perfect. And then after that, I'll also share the PA Talk message as well, and I'll also mention this as well as a final part of the stream. This will be the last episode that will be streaming live on YouTube, as I mentioned at the start. The reason for it being is because PA are now looking to focus, when it comes to content creation and also live streaming, they want to focus more on streaming and also uploading videos and content through Odysee, as Odysee is more of a free speech platform and all of that. You can't follow the chat on Odysee, right? So this will be the last episode live on YouTube, and it will be going live maybe by next week on Odysee, but I'll keep you guys posted, and definitely follow me on Telegram and on other platforms like Twitter and Gab for any particular updates in the near future. So Abby Wood was such a lovely lady, such a sad shock when I heard. Yeah, there was a really sad news indeed. Really sad news. So what I'm just going to do also just now is, since it's coming up towards the end of the show, I'll post the links for the Abbey Wood Memorial stream just now. So start off with Odysee, then DLive, then Radio Albion. Right then, let's. Speaking of which, English Rose posted that and the Odysee link for that. Thank you very much, English Rose. Greatly appreciate that. Yeah, so definitely head on over to that stream once tonight's show comes to an end, folks. Definitely, I'll head on over after the show ends tonight. Let me see. So that's Odysee. Laura's DLive. And then finally, if you want to listen to the audio track version in the live format, of course, that would also be Radio Albion. as well. I'll post that as well just in case. Let me see. There we go. English Rose posted the Odysee link. I've posted the DLive link and also the Radio Albion link just in case. Excellent stuff. Really good stuff indeed. With that, folks, it's again no questions popped through on Entropy, which is completely fine. But Bill, again, thank you for the $3 donation and your question. Mr. Peter Walker, if you're still watching, thank you very much for your £10 donation on PayPal. If everyone still wants to send any donations through for financially contributing for me and also the show, PayPal would be the best option for that at the moment. If you can, please, if you can send any financial contribution to the show, if possible, through PayPal, that would be much appreciated. I'll post a link in the chat again, just in case if people missed the link. And with that, that's going to be the end of tonight's show, folks. Again, maybe a bit of I don't want to say like a black pilling type of, because we I think this was an episode that had a bit of ups and downs throughout the show. Some good, some bad. I think it depends on the topics with that. The only good topic was maybe all to do with Horseface, regarding to Jacinda Ardern. Now could it possibly be the former Prime Minister of New Zealand as she's stepping down on the 7th of February. Some pretty dark topics we covered, especially the one I talked about earlier on. But again, just like with the grooming gang scandal, it may be uncomfortable, but it's a harsh and honest truth that needs to be talked about, I think. So I think I'll definitely be a bit more prepared to talk about this story once I've covered that a bit more, because I didn't expect it would go to that dark of a place. But anyway, so with that, head on over to the next stream at 7 p.m. on the respected platforms. If you can, folks, watch PA Talk tonight, as Mark will be the guest of that show tonight as well. And that will be it for tonight. This stuff needs to be aired, Chief. Well done. Good show. Thank you very much, James Hayworth, and thank you very much for watching the show. And for those, thank you very much for your contributions, whether it be viewing the show or even financially sending any financial donations through it. That would be much appreciated. I'm going to see if I can find the outro song for tonight's show, because I definitely need to end the show just now. So let me see here. And I'll also get this up here just now. Let me see here. Just going to quickly find the song to play. Let me see. Okay, that's fine with that. Anything else come through in the chat? Thanks for the stream, Chief. No worries, Streaky Bacon. Thank you very much for coming along. That is much appreciated. And I'll keep you guys updated for any updates for the next stream. I'll see if with that, I'll also see if I can get another guest on, but I mean, I don't know. We'll definitely wait and see with that. So with that, I'm going to see. I don't know why my phone keeps doing that. Anyway, sorry. Right, let's see here. I've not really played this song in a while, but yeah, why not? Right, I'll play this song, and then that will be the end of tonight's episode. So please head on over to the next streams, and if you can, please send any donations through PayPal if you can, as a way of supporting me and the show. That would be much appreciated. Any type of donation, please. That would be much appreciated. And again, for those who have donated tonight, thank you very much for your contributions and for your kind generosity. Much appreciated with that. There's a link to Abby's book on the PA website. That is true. I'm sure they'll be posted in the next stream as well. I'm sure even Mark and Laura will talk about that in that next stream as well. So head on over there just now. And again, everyone, thank you very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. And see you all next time. Thank you all, and good night. Take care.
this city was a kingdom, I'd want you to rule with me. Still worried for your safety after all that tomfoolery. And I know I'm probably freaking out foolishly. I just don't want the next thing that I write to be a eulogy in your honor. And I know you hate it too. All the petty little things that I'd associate with you, like stairwells, night veil, and beautiful smiles, like taiko, instruments, and 300 miles, like happiness, elated afternoons in the shade, like long car trips and trying to move where it rains, like never thinking twice but always using your brain, and like Sherlock Holmes in every tune that you sang, like pie baking, Seattle or Portland, our lack of good fortune, kisses in the morning, mathematical equations, empty night skies, bonfires, poetry, and living life right. And there's beaches, boats, sailing, togetherness, the feeling like you're smiling even brighter when the weather's shit, telling all my friends that I was happy when I got you, and there's coffee shop dates and certainly Sinatra, meeting every morning and consorting by your locker. How the first time that we kissed you said you're not much of a talker. Nearly 8 months later, I think you had it backwards. I asked you who you were, said you're cute, you were flattered. Now our story's gotta fill with happily forever afters, and I don't think I could have fallen for you any faster.